आज की वीडियो का टॉपिक इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमैनिटेरियन लॉ पर है। इस वीडियो से हम जानेंगे कि इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमैनिटेरियन लॉ क्या है, उसके मेन सोर्सेस एंड व्हाट आर द एरियाज इट कवर्स फॉर द प्रोटेक्शन। इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमैनिटेरियन लॉ डेवलप्ड हुआ फ्रॉम इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमन राइट लॉ से। इसको लॉ ऑफ आर्म्ड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और द लॉज ऑफ वॉर इसलिए कहा जाता है बिकॉज इसमें रेगुलेट किए गए हैं हाउ टू कंडक्ट द वॉर। Most of the applicable rules are to be found in the four 1949 Geneva Conventions and their two 1977 additional protocols. Emergence जो हुई international humanitarian law की, that was by war, has been regulated medieval crusades, 19th century, and the regulation based on unilateral decision made by nations or parties in conflict, modern law on armed conflict, Hague regulations and the Geneva regulations. मेन सोर्सेज जो इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमैनिटेरियन लॉ के हुए हैं वो जेनेवा कन्वेंशन 1949 एंड एडिशनल प्रोटोकॉल्स ऑफ 1977। IHL एक्चुअली जो कवर करता है फॉर द प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ दोज हु आर नॉट और नो लॉन्गर टेकिंग पार्ट इन फाइटिंग। इसमें कुछ मेजर्स, मीन्स और मेथड्स रिस्ट्रिक्ट किए गए हैं इन पर्टिकुलर वेपन्स एंड इन पर्टिकुलर ऑफ टैक्टिक्स सच एज मेथड्स ऑफ वॉरफेयर में भी कुछ जो मिलिट्री टैक्टिक्स यूज करते हैं उन पे भी कुछ रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं इन यूजिंग दोज मेजर्स। जो लीडिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन है फॉर द International Humanitarian Law, that is ICRC, which stand for International Committee of Red Cross. ये international law है की body है and it is devoted in developments, implementation and promotion of international humanitarian law. ICRC को actually protector and guardian कहा जाता है IHL के। IHL has three parts, namely Geneva Convention, जिसमें प्रोवाइड किए जाते हैं लीगल प्रोटेक्शन टू पीपल हु डू नॉट पार्टिसिपेट इन हॉस्टिलिटीज एनीमोर, एंड हेग कन्वेंशन जिसमें सिविलियंस और उनकी प्रॉपर्टी को रिस्पेक्ट किया जाता है, उनको ट्रीट जो वाउंडेड प्रिजनर्स होते हैं उनको ह्यूमनली ट्रीटमेंट दी जाती है। एंड इट ऑल्सो प्रोहिबिट द यूज ऑफ वेपन्स विच कॉज अननेसेसरी सफरिंग। कस्टमरी इंटरनेशनल लॉ प्ले एन इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल इन द evaluation of international humanitarian law. Why is it so? Because it is a fundamental law that no nation can ignore them or have to act in contrary. इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमैनिटेरियन के जो लॉ है वो इट इज अ ब्रांच ऑफ इंटरनेशनल लॉ जो प्रोवाइड करता है प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग फ्रॉम द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस ऑफ आर्म्ड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स। इट डील्स विद द प्रोटेक्शन and it limits the use of violence in times of war. These rules are inspired principles of humanity कि humanity should be there and avoid human sufferings and brutality in armed conflicts. There should be a motivations and humanitarian consideration, that is called humanitarian law. International humanitarian law much in common with the law of human rights, since both in concern with the protection of the individual, and there is an importance difference between the two. As international humanitarian law is applied during the time of armed conflict, where the law of human right is applied in peace time. Here it means कि international humanitarian law वहाँ पर ह्यूमन राइट्स की प्रोटेक्शन का मेजर मैंडेट रूल अप्लाई करता है जहाँ आर्म कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स है, वेरियस ह्यूमन राइट्स वहाँ अप्लाइड किए जाते हैं वेयर इट इज अ टाइम ऑफ पीस, एवरीवन इज इन गुड रिलेशंस सेटल अप एंड देयर इज फ्रेंडली रिलेशंस अमंग स्टेट पीपल एंड मेंबर्स। The second difference is that the state which become a party to a human right treaty assume an obligation to treat all persons within the jurisdiction in accordance with the provision of the treaty. Humanitarian law is primarily made up of treaties. Of course, उसमें agreements हैं between states that have binding legal effect between the parties and agreed only between parties which are party to those treaties. International humanitarian laws apply to all armed conflict, that is international armed conflict as well as non-international armed conflicts. International humanitarian law दो कैटेगरीज पे अप्लाइड है। इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स जो बिटवीन कंट्रीज होता है टू और मोर स्टेट, और नॉन इंटरनेशनल आर्म्ड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स उन्हें कहते हैं जो विद इन द कंट्री मतलब विद इन द टेरिटरी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, इट्स आर्म फोर्सेस, एग्जाम्पल सिविल वॉर आर इंक्लूडेड इन नॉन इंटरनेशनल आर्म कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स. Not all violation of international humanitarian law constitute war crimes, and not all IHL treaties criminalize violation. We are saying international humanitarian law could be categorized as crime through customary law, but it focuses on actions and obligation of states and government of parties to a conflict. International humanitarian law कुछ obligations states पे impose करता है कि there should be humanity, there should be development of humanity. Where is international humanitarian law to be found? यहाँ हम बताएंगे कि एक major part of international humanitarian law जो contain किया गया था, that was in 4th Geneva Convention of 1949. Nearly every state in the world agreed to bound, मतलब वो binding है. Almost every state is binding to this convention. Additional protocol 1977 relating to the protection of victims of armed conflicts. और भी अदर एग्रीमेंट प्रोहिबिट द यूज ऑफ सर्टेन वेपन्स पे निकाले गए मिलिट्री टैक्टिक्स पे कि टू प्रोटेक्ट द सर्टेन कैटेगरीज ऑफ पीपल्स एंड गुड्स. These agreements include, यहाँ पे ये सारे agreements है which I have provide for more knowledge and to provide you some facts कि these were the agreement that were took place for the international humanitarian law now are accepted as customary law, that is as general rules by which all states are bound. Now it comes on effects on India's laws. International humanitarian law balance करता है necessity and concern for humanity, but somewhere it hurdles in its application, and there like additional protocol 2 of Geneva जो है, it has been not accepted but ratified by India as well as by USA, Iran, Pakistan and few other states, but still we are facing some wars, some Cold War and many other violations. India has certain obligation under some international convention and treaty at an international level, जैसे कि UDHR. It says that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and they are endowed with the reason and concise. It prescribes punishment like in India. The government passed the Geneva Convention Act in 1960 under Article 253 of the Indian Constitution कि it prescribe कि किसी ने भी 1949 कन्वेंशन का ब्रीच किया और मिसयूज किया रेड क्रॉस का and other protected emblem का are also prohibited under this law. At present, two major problems are being combated by India, that is militants and extremists, जिसको हम लोग बहुत न्यूज़ में और न्यूज़पेपर में देखते आए हैं कि कैसे जो मिलिटेंट्स और एक्सट्रीमिस्ट उन्हें कहते हैं they have they bound to fight because they have a very strong political and religious views, so they promote and they give rise to the fight in the boundary or wherever. So it refers to the group operating in Jammu and Kashmir in to a large extent and group in the national affected area respectively. Despite human rights treaties signatory हुई हैं, but India still failed to protect the human rights of Jammu and Kashmir people. International humanitarian law, it has not participated in the additional protocol of 1977. Therefore, India would not allow ICRC any access to detainees, but it allow ICRC access to terrorism affected areas. International criminal court जो है allowed to take action or measure, पर उसकी two condition पे it is allowed to take action or any measure against crimes when पर्टिकुलर इंडिया का पर्टिकुलर कंट्री का जुडिशियल सिस्टम एग्जिस्टेंस में नहीं है या इट इज नॉट एबल टू डील विद द क्राइम्स ऑफ पर्टिकुलर नेचर. सो दिस हैपेंस विद इंडिया. कंक्लूजन पे वी केम टू दैट presently there is a widespread acceptance of importance of human right in the international structure, or humanity should be dealt even with armed conflict, war at time, or even like prisoners with prisoners and whosoever, even hostiles. So promotion and the protection and the development of humanity should be there in order to protect and prevent the violations of human rights. International law is the protection of these rights. One valuable lesson that the history of human rights teaches us in that they are not static but are developed in response to new modes of political thought and changes in the international environment. So in this video, it was all about international humanitarian law, and I hope this video will definitely help you out. Thank you so much for watching this video.